we never miss a beat. We always just keep going and going like the Energizer Bunnies.
And you should see this guy in rabbit's feet. I mean, it is those rabbit-footed pajamas, very nice. Welcome to the Red and Blue, Gupper and the gang, talking some basketball here. Say hello to the sheriff of Planet Blue, Daryl Bard, with the cat's paws with a take on red.
Yeah, it's hard to, I'm trying to come up with takes on red, but when Kentucky's playing so well, you almost kind of forget Louisville even played a game the other day. You really do. Sorry.
Howie Lindsay had a scare. Gorky went down, but perhaps not down to stay. But you want to talk about Planet Blue?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, just beating up on the little kids over there at South Carolina, that's just not nice. I mean, from the opening tip on, there's not a point in any of that game where the South Carolina fans were like, hey, we might win this. I mean, it was just like beaning sixth graders with the dodgeball if you're a full-grown adult. I mean, it was bad.
Were there South Carolina fans there?
There are a
Not
few.
many.
Just a few. Just a few. Hey, we got a lot of hoops to talk about right now in the lightning round. What's hot for the University of Kentucky is the fact that Cal's Cats are starting to come together, and he says that's because these individual players are starting to get more focused on team goals.
They want to win above how they're playing. So a guy like Marcus Teague, who scored 28 a game in high school, is running our team, not scoring as many points. Michael Gilchrist, who scored 25 a game. We're not running one play for Michael Gilchrist. Not one play. Well, we ran a slice cut twice, so I ran 2 plays for him. Whether it's Duran Lamb, Terrence Jones, or Darius Miller, veterans, quote, 2 sophomores and a senior. And they're accepting that these freshmen are really good, yet they're still stepping up and playing.
It's funny to watch the patience of UK fans, because they're not, obviously. But we've been saying all year, wait until February. It's going to take time for this team to come together. You can't take McDonald's All-Americans who are used to scoring 25, 30 a game and get them to play as a team immediately. It takes time. South Carolina, oh my goodness. Did we see it then? Cal's been saying all year long, if we can ever put this together, it's going to be scary. It scared the daylights out of South Carolina. And even Cal, to his credit, came out after the game and said, don't pick on South Carolina. It wouldn't matter who we play today, we're winning by 30. They just put it all together. Question, go forward from here, do you keep playing that well?
Who's hot for Louisville is Shane Behannon. Huge game, in fact, probably his best game as a collegian. 23 points, 10 rebounds. And Rick Pitino says Shane is becoming a more complete player.
I think he's doing things. He always just was the strongest guy on the team, so he just relied on his athleticism. Now he's doing things fundamentally that, from going like to the baseline out, timing his jump. He realizes now, instead of floating on the perimeter, how much he can score by being an offensive rebounder.
It's interesting. Shane Behannon actually learned quite a bit from another Big East player, DeJuan Blair, who is very similar in stature to Shane Behannon. So hopefully he's watching tapes of DeJuan Blair, because DeJuan Blair said, think of every rebound, every shot as a $sign, and you go get that $sign. and Shane said, I want to be rich, so I'm going to get all the $signs I can. So there are so many of these dunks that were off rebounds, off bad shots, off that or follow dunks, that kind of thing. I think he ended the game with 7 dunks in a single game, and he was just a man-child out there. I mean, he's pushing guys around, and it was really impressive.
What's not for Kentucky is Anthony Davis, and Cal says Anthony Davis is not a diva.
There are players out there that, you know, they're really good players and all that, but their teammates don't want to play with them. Don't like them. This kid, you know, let me just say this. He whistles and skips going to class. He's so happy. I heard him the other day. I said, who's that whistling? And it was him going to class, just skipping like, you know, he's having fun, he's enjoying himself. You know, he's not putting anything on, pressure on himself, he's just playing.
He definitely, of all the players I've been around, he definitely has a different attitude than even the nicest guys you've ever been around. He really doesn't care that he only got 2 shots in a game recently. It doesn't bother him a bit. He's not going to force the issue. He's not going to demand the ball. The way he's playing, he's like, hey, I'm Defensive National Player of the Year. I could be Player of the Year if these jokers would give me the basketball every now and then. So I'm going to go in the locker room and say, you give me my shot so I can get National Player of the Year as well as defensive. It's just not in his makeup. He's not like that at all. He's just having a good time.
I can't imagine another player being the National Player of the Year after what AD is doing. Well, what's not hot at the University of University of Louisville is their 3-point shooting defense. Louisville beat Rutgers by 12, but the Scarlet Knights hit 10 3-pointers, and Coach P says that's got to change as the Cards go deeper toward March?
Because when you look at, we gave up 10 threes, and we made some really, really bad mistakes on rotations when we went from zone to man. This team gives everybody fits. From beating Notre Dame, beating Connecticut, beating Florida in 2 overtimes, had Georgetown on the road. They shoot the ball really well. It makes it very difficult.
Rutgers has a lot of young talent, and they are a very good shooting team. As you heard, they beat Notre Dame, they beat Florida, that kind of thing. So they're going to do that to you some. But I do think that Louisville's got to shore that up. They didn't switch very effectively, I think part of that was Peyton Siva was on the bench for a lot of the time with foul trouble. So was Russ Smith. So they've got to figure that out. When the guys come in to spell them, Kevin Ware, Chris Smith, those guys, they need to do the same kind of switching.
The buzz at the University of Kentucky is there may be a guy coming who's even better than Anthony Davis. DB, tell us about Nerlens Noel.
Nerlens Noel is an interesting story. He was in the class of 2012, reclassified to 2013, and then in the middle of National Signing Day week, when everybody's focused on football, here comes Nerlens Noel reclassifying to 2012. Ooh. A lot of highlights here. When we watch these clips, the kid has a lot of athleticism, and the talk among the AAU circuit last year, much farther along than Anthony Davis.
Wow.
So he's farther along at this stage than Anthony Davis, and as good as Anthony Davis is, this kid has got that kind of talent, supposedly down to like Kentucky and Syracuse, and it's going to be an interesting battle there. But if they could somehow get him and get Shabazz Muhammad at the same time, look out. But this kid can play. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and it has ignited the fan base, and for certain, it wouldn't be a show for UK fans if we didn't ignore a potential championship season to talk about next year. That's just what the fans are always wanting to talk about next year.
And Nerlens Noel is easily one of the best players in this next class. He'll probably reclassify and become the #1 player. He's a genetic freak. I mean, he's got super long arms. He runs extremely well. Reminds me a lot of Kevin Garnett. Yeah. I think is probably the best comparison. Anthony Davis is a good comparison too as well. I mean, he's got that real high top fade, that kind of thing. His only problem during a game, he can do it all. He really can do it all, except if he jumps high enough, he dents his fro a little bit. Right there on the rim, it kind of puts a little divot in. It's just a bad look.
We'll get through it, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, the buzz at the University of Louisville is Shane Behannon may never find his face on a box of Wheaties, but he may end up on a box of lasagna noodles.
I mean, just like I told them, though, every rebound was just coming my way. And my pregame meal is always going to be lasagna.
I love it. Guys are like, what'd you have for pregame meal? Did you eat your Wheaties today? And he goes, nope, lasagna. Like Garfield. I love it. But he had a tremendous game. He's such a ham in the locker room. Of course, he got some flack earlier this year for saying Louisville's going to go undefeated and we're the #1 team in the country, all that kind of thing. He's so much fun to cover because he works extremely hard. He gives you a great quote. He's kind of gregarious is probably the best way. I mean, he's like taking a page right out of Charles Barkley's handbook. Yeah. I mean, he says really funny things.
Got some good news for you, Daryl and Howie, as you get ready for the polar plunge you're going to take part in. We staged one in western Kentucky over the weekend. The water in Kentucky Lake, 51 balmy degrees. No doubt the warm weather part of the reason why we attracted a record 513 plungers, and we raised $91,000 for Special Olympics Kentucky.
It doesn't feel 20 degrees warmer than last year. It'll get your breath real quick.
So when you hit the water, what happened?
I couldn't breathe.
Actually, it's not too bad. It's really not too bad. It's cold in the water, but once you get out, you actually warm up.
So tell me what happened when you hit the water. Did anything lock up, quit, freeze?
No, not at all. I've actually been I went to Northern Warfare training in Alaska, so I've been in much colder water than that, right off the glaciers. But it's still cold, I'll tell you that. It's very cold.
And that was 51 degrees. Yep. You just know by the time February 16th, the UK Ole Miss, day of the UK Ole Miss game in Lexington, it's going to be 10. We're going to have freeze-dried Howie in Lexington.
I'm good for it. I think it's going to be a blast. It's for a great cause. We just need you guys to donate. Log on to SOKY.org, click on the little icon, donate for the red side. Forget about the blue side. Let's go ahead and donate for the red side so we can push Daryl in.
All right, and when we come back, Cal's going to tell us why he likes taking this team on the road as we go to the break. Daryl's going to tell us what he likes about the Cat's Paws website.
Appreciate it, sir. CatsPaws.com. If you've been with us this week, you know there's been tons and tons of signing day stories. We've lost track. I think it was about 20 last time I looked. A lot of coverage from the South Carolina game. And stay with us this week. Florida Tuesday night, Vanderbilt next Saturday. CatsPaws.com will be hopping.
driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Waterson at Poplar Level Road.
If you're like me, you're dreading the thought of higher energy costs this season. That's why I call my friends at Doug Jones Home Improvement, who's been doing quality work at a fair price for over 40 years. Doug Jones Home Improvement offers maintenance-free replacement windows, insulated vinyl siding, and airtight entry doors. They're priced fairly with no high-pressure sales tactics or hidden fees. Doug Jones Home Improvement prides itself on keeping the weather outside while keeping you comfortable inside.
For a free estimate, call us at 366-0291.
When you need a truck, Bachman Chevrolet is your truck headquarters. I'm Teresa Bachman. Even during our construction, we have more trucks than any other dealer. Silverado, Colorado, Tahoe, or Suburban, Bachman is your #1 Chevrolet truck dealer. Nobody beats Bachman's price or selection on any Chevrolet, including Traverse and Equinox. Chevrolet has what you need, and Bachman Chevrolet has what you want. Bachman makes the difference.
Kentucky Corner is giving UK fans a new cheer this season.
Pink!
Think Power Pink when you dress Big Blue this season. Kentucky Corner is the only place to find hot new colors and styles the Big Blue Nation craves.
Polka dot!
Kentucky Corner is in Louisville, Lexington, Ashland, Florence, E-Town, Clarksville, Paducah, and with Kentucky Corner Online, there's a Kentucky Corner on your corner.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Yeah, I think we could be real good. We continue down this way, playing unselfish, playing hard, and just playing defense and playing together.
That's what these two guys do every week. They play well with others, even though they're from Planets Red and Planets Blue. Hey, welcome back as we're going to jump into our game time storylines. Our topics today, Davis demanding the ball, Gorky's ankle, and road trips, all coming up right now on our game time storylines. As we've already talked about in this broadcast, we've seen Anthony Davis do some incredible things this year. The one thing you probably won't see him do is forcing a shot.
He doesn't command the ball. I mean, he's just playing. If you pass him up, he doesn't get mad about it.
I know the ball's going to come to me. I don't want to force my offense to come. I don't want to let it come to me. You force your offense to come. That's when you start going 0 for 12. Have bad shooting percentages and taking bad shots. And then you get out of the game. So I just want to let the offensive game come to me and get into the flow of the game.
And that's a freshman talking right there. Freshmen are supposed to be clueless because they scored 30 a game in high school and they got to get theirs. I can't wait. I'm going to get my points per game, and he's not even worried about it. It's funny, I talked to guys like Marcus Teague and Terrence Jones after this game when they played Tennessee at home about, isn't that the hardest thing to let go of? He said, oh yeah, both of them. It's kind of like my identity is how many points per game I can score. That's what makes me who I am. That's what made me the 5-star recruit that I am that got me to come here, and that's hard to give up. And Calipari's got them to where they give that up, and they've got 6 guys averaging in double figures now, and nobody more than 13.
Yeah, Darren, one of the things that Anthony Davis talked to me about was the fact that he's starting to shoot that jump shot out on the floor, and that's a lot more than him just showing off his shooting skills.
Yeah, it opens up the lane because people can't sag in, and it's really becoming a point, you notice with, and I've seen TV commentators talking about it, how do you guard these guys? If Davis is going to start stepping out to 10 to 12, and then you got the guys in the paint playing hard, and you got Deron Lamb is picking it up. Where do you pick your poison? How do you stop these guys?
Hey, tell me if you've heard this one before. A Louisville basketball player gets injured, and it sounded like it was going to be worse than it was. Gorky Jang goes down against Rutgers, but he did come back and play, and that impressed his coach.
That was really a lot of heart that Gorky showed, because the referee came over to me and said, Rick, he's got a bad one. He said all his weight fell on his ankle. I said, I appreciate that. And I said, Gorky, you ready to go back in the game? And he said, yes, just give me a minute. So he's in a lot of pain. That was great, a great performance by him.
You should have seen it. When it happened, Gorgie goes down just like that, and it was like the air got sucked out of the arena. Because we dealt with so many different injuries with this Louisville basketball team that the entire arena breathed in at the same time. They're all like, I mean, guys in the front row with their toupees flop backwards. That's how much of a wind was coming up. It was like, and everybody was dead silent as he laid there. You could hear a pin drop in there. Amazingly, he comes back later and plays just a little bit. But seriously, with as many injuries as Louisville has had, you see all those games missed? I mean, the concern in that arena is like nothing I've ever experienced.
Well, one of the things that you know about college basketball is most fans want to see their teams play at home. But Cal says this is one bunch of cats that he actually likes taking on the road.
And I love road trips. I love going on the road because it's just us. You got 11 players in our staff, and that's it. And we're together for 2-3 days. So, that kind of stuff helps this team because we are 4 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a senior playing most of the minutes.
There's only one kink in his philosophy right there. There were more UK fans at South Carolina than there were South Carolina fans. So the Big Blue Nation will find you. You cannot go hide. But I understand what he's saying. It does help to get away, and it forces the bonding issue. They had a tournament in Connecticut earlier this year where they had to play back-to-back days, and they were on the road. They went to New York State up there for 7 days. It helps you come together. It's just you and your teammates, and there's a lot to that. But you have to understand in Kentucky, you cannot hide. You will not be all alone no matter where you go.
And Darryl, one of the things that's so key about that is these guys have actually been together such a short amount of time. Creating a team in that environment, as you talked earlier, is difficult enough when you have superstars. When you have them for only a year at a time, it makes it really challenging.
Yeah, it puts the emphasis on Cal to really speed up the process of making this a team. And that's why we've had this discussion before. I don't think Calipari gets enough credit for taking superstars, breaking them down, and blending them into a team by early February. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, Gorky gave a lot of people a scare, as Howie was just saying, when he went down in that Rutgers game. Everybody in the place was worried, except probably his teammates who've seen this act before.
How much pain are you in right now?
I don't know. It's pretty hard though, but I care more about winning.
What did you think when Gorky went down?
Well, in practice sometimes he kind of, falls down, yells a lot. Somebody sniped him. But so he went down. I wasn't really sure. I was hoping it was kind of like a practice. He was a little tired, give him a break, he'll be back.
So let me run down through all the comments here. I talked to Kyle Keurig. He said Gorgie goes down like he's sniped in practice. he says whenever Gorgie gets a little tired in practice, he gets an ankle injury. I talked to Shane Bohannon. He goes, Gorgie's just dramatic. He gets down there and yells a lot. I talked to Chris Smith. He's like, he played soccer growing up, and you know how those soccer guys roll around, like they've passed away, like their leg has fallen off, and he gets up and practices later. So, hopefully it's just Gorgie being dramatic, and he'll be back for that UConn game Monday night.
When we come back, Howie's going to tell us why Louisville seems to be having more success recruiting in Florida than they are in Kentucky. And as we head to the break, he's going to tell us about CardinalSports.com.
You should have been there on signing day. If you were not there on signing day, you missed a couple dozen stories, 24 stories in all, I think 26 stories actually in all, about all the different signees and all the different stuff that went on signing day. But if you missed it, no problem. It's right there on the website, CardinalSports.com. Check it out. We've already started on 2013. There are about 4 or 5 really elite prospects in the city of Louisville for the 2013 class.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
If you're like me, you're dreading the thought of higher energy costs this season. That's why I call my friends at Doug Jones Home Improvement, who's been doing quality work at a fair price for over 40 years. Doug Jones Home Improvement offers maintenance-free replacement windows, insulated vinyl siding, and airtight entry doors. They're priced fairly with no high-pressure sales tactics or hidden fees. Doug Jones Home Improvement prides itself on keeping the weather outside while keeping you comfortable inside.
For a free estimate, call us at 366-0291.
Kentucky Corner is giving UK fans a new cheer this season.
Pink!
Think Power Pink when you dress Big Blue this season. Kentucky Corner is the only place to find hot new colors and styles the Big Blue Nation craves.
Polka dot!
Kentucky Corner is in Louisville, Lexington, Ashland, Florence, E-Town, Clarksville, Paducah, and with Kentucky Corner online, there's a Kentucky Corner on your corner.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card featuring Chariot Run, Bardstown Country Club at Maywood, Rosewood Country Club, Indian Springs, Cave Valley Golf Resort, the Falls Golf Resort, the Bull, and Stonecrest Golf Course is available now. Get your golf tour card and play 8 great courses with cart for one low price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. You can play anytime, but you must get your golf tour card now.
You want to weigh, you are the difference maker for Kentucky basketball because what the players are telling us is because there's so much attention on the UK basketball program, these guys tend to kind of huddle to themselves, and that is bringing this team closer together, and that has been a difference maker already.
For us to build chemistry and to become a real family and a real good team, you have to. And I just think the brotherhood we got just with us living together and just being around each other so much just brings a different love we have for each other than other teams don't have, I think.
They live together every day. From the time they get on campus, every day they're spent together in some capacity. I dare say they probably play basketball every single day that they're here, and, you know, except for going home for Christmas, and usually they'll take a teammate with them, so they're always together, and it takes unique personality. Especially on this team, because you got one senior really in Darius Miller. He's not the rah-rah, rally mount around me type of player. So the young guys have figured out how to get along, and they do. They really do get along very well.
Dylan, is there something about we talked about the amount of attention. There almost has to be at a time almost an us against them. And I know they like the fan base, but when you look at what we as media do and how much we crowd around these guys, that has got to be one of the things that helps to meld these guys together as a team, because they have to put up with stuff that really no other program has to.
Now, the media contingency covering UK is far and away the largest. It's not even close. It's comical when you go to a practice and they make 3 players available and there's probably 50 media.
Yeah.
And it's one guy pinned against the wall like this. You're feeling sorry for the guy, just to hear say, well, we need to keep playing as a team and work really hard this week. So, how that goes. But yeah, it is. It has to. The cocoon effect. The pressure's not bad. They enjoy the fans, but it does kind of force them to togetherness to survive. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not many places you go. You're one of 30,000 students, and everybody on campus knows who you are.
The recruits. People know the recruits at the mall when they come in for their official visit. Before they've ever committed.
That is an unusual environment for these guys to succeed in. Well, the difference maker for the University of Louisville football team has been the state of Florida when you consider that 11 of Louisville's signees this past week were from the state of Florida. The reason for that is the difference maker are those Cardinal coaches who have Florida connections.
So we have probably 6 or 7 guys on our staff that has recruited the state of Florida. And then when you look at a Teddy Bridgewater, look at the success he had. An Eli Rogers, look at the success he had. So guys, John Miller comes in here as a freshman. So guys know those guys. So when you go in and recruit those schools, when you go to the Northwest, you go to Central, go to Booker T. Washington, when you go to Southridge, those guys know Deuce Johnson, they know Gerard Houghton. And then when they see their success, then they're looking at, hey, I can go there and I can play and I have a chance to go be successful myself.
It really does feed on itself. As Teddy Bridgewater is more successful, as Eli Rogers is more successful, as Michael Lee Harris catches touchdowns, that's Josh Bellamy, another Florida kid. The Florida kids say, Louisville's the place to be. That's where I want to go. That's where you can get early playing time as a Miami kid, and you can be successful up there. I think too, there's a group of Florida kids that all stick really close together once they get on campus, and they're all really good friends. I think it started with certainly Schnellenberger way back when, and kids have had success, but that was kind of northern Florida and Miami and all over Florida. This is a strong group of kids coming up from Miami, and the stats don't lie. I mean, on next year's roster, 49 guys will be from either Georgia or Florida. That's more than by far more than Kentucky. I mean, it's a very southern-oriented football team, and it's working for Louisville.
Well, let's talk a little bit of basketball, Howie. You've got a heck of a season coming up in the next 7 days. Louisville's got UConn, West Virginia, and Syracuse. That is a stretch, my friend.
That Rutgers game was actually the only one in a stretch of 5 games that were not top 25 RPI teams. I mean, this is a brutal stretch for Louisville. If they can survive this, and that's the reason Rick Pitino took a lot of criticism for saying, we want to win 5 out of the next 9. That's the reason. I mean, it's so loaded.
Yeah, and on the Kentucky side of things, it seems like Kentucky's just blown through the SEC, and they have, but they really haven't been tested by a couple of the better teams when you consider they still got Florida and Vandy this week.
Yeah, they're 10-0 in the league. They've got 6 games left, and they haven't played Florida or Vandy. And Mississippi State. See, you tell me it's not backloaded big time.
Well, Kentucky's needed to get this young team ready. So has Louisville, and now they are, as the quest to win a title is still ahead on the Red and Blue Review.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card featuring Chariot Run, Bardstown Country Club at Maywood, Rosewood Country Club, Indian Springs, Cave Valley Golf Resort, the Falls Golf Resort, the Bull, and Stonecrest Golf Course is available now. Get your golf tour card and play 8 great courses with cart for one low price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. You can play anytime, but you must get your